Tonight on Our News Live at 7, it's the PLP's time now. Who will the party select to run in the vacant West End and Bimini seat? We are live at the party's headquarters tonight. The FNM names Bishop Ricardo Grant as their by-election candidate. His first interview with media at party headquarters just moments after he is ratified. And KFC workers call to take strike action, as the union says time has run out on an 8-year overdue industrial agreement. We ask, what will that mean for KFC locations? And then in our news at 7:30, we are in Grand Bahama getting reactions on the ongoing candidate selections as West End and Bimini get set to elect a new MP. Our news live at 7 starts right now. Welcome to Our News Live at 7. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I'm Megan Shepard. The field of candidates shaping up for the West End and Bimini by-election. 24 hours after the opposition party named their candidate, all eyes are now on the ruling Progressive Liberal Party, now engaged in the final stages of their selection process. But it is not without its fair share of controversy, as a former cabinet minister is looking to re-enter Parliament against a field of mainly political newcomers. We begin at PLP headquarters, where our Joshua Williams is standing by live. Josh, what can you tell us?
Good evening, Megan. Yes, we're outside of the PLP headquarters on Farrington Road, where the ruling Progressive Liberal Party is looking to narrow a field of 10 nominees to just one. Now, earlier today, supporters of the Progressive Liberal Party arriving at headquarters around 5 p.m., the majority of them throwing their support behind former Cabinet Minister Shane Gibson, who has made it known his intention to contest for the seat in West Grand Bahama and Bimini. Now, we will have that announcement for you shortly as we await the council's decision inside at this moment. It has all come down to this. Tonight's council meeting kicks off the PLP's race for the West End Grand Bahama and Bimini seat. The process started Sunday with the opening of the application process for nominees. By Tuesday midnight, that process closed, and a total of 10 applicants emerged. Among them, former Cabinet Minister Shane Gibson, Samuel Brown, N. Edmund Munro, Kingsley Smith, Robert Grant, Park O'Deal, Keith Russell, Caleb Oudin, Carla Rita Walker Saunders, and Lyndon Maycock. Gibson has been the most vocal.
But in this case, I have overwhelming support. I'm the only candidate who had the branches write in and asked for him to be nominated. I'm the only candidate who got signatures, right? And so I have done what no other candidate has done.
Robert Grant Sr. and attorney Park O'Deal are also hoping to hear their names called.
I know in politics, once the campaign is on, you're going to hear a lot of rumors, you're going to hear a lot of lies. So what I did over the last 20 years is I stayed in the community and I got to know all the residents. And so, yes, I have the support. I put in 3,000 signatures under the late O.B. Wilscombe for the nomination, and I'm sure if I was to go out there now, it would be even more.
And the best choice for the people to bring to the people what they need, to bring the constituency what it needs.
So, Megan, we're here and we're prepared to burn the midnight oil, as that decision may not come in until the next 2 hours. Again, once we have that announcement for you, we'll be sure to blast it on our social media pages. And we also encourage you at home to stay tuned to Our News Tonight. Back to you, Megan.
Thanks so much, Josh. We look forward to hearing from you again at 7:30 and hopefully with those results at that time. Well, meanwhile, the Free National Movement, the first to officially ratify its candidate for the West End and Bimini race. The opposition wrapped up the process last night, paving the way for their campaign to begin. Our Sasha Lightborn reports.
This was a scene at FNM headquarters Thursday night as a crowd of Free National Movement supporters filed the party's Mackey Street headquarters for this announcement.
Tonight, we have confirmed the standard bearer for West Grand Bahama and Bimini, Ricardo Grant and Mrs. Grant. It's going to be a family affair.
The vacant seat, the result of the passing of PLP MP, the late O.B. Wilscombe. And although many offered, it was Ricardo Grant who ultimately got the nod.
We have come with one agenda in mind and heart, and that is to stand to represent the fine people of West Grand Bahama and Bimini. To stand to be a voice, to stand to ensure that we present to them the representation that we know that the citizens of West Grand Bahama do, in fact, deserve to have.
The big question of the night from reporters was about the bishop's decision to trade the pulpit for a potential seat in Parliament.
We serve people, and when you talk about church has always been about service. It's been about counsel. It's about feeding the sick, feeding the hungry, visiting the sick, visiting the homeless. When you talk about state should be ensuring that its citizens always have the best quality of life that it should serve.
Party leader Michael Pintard describing the contest as a no retreat, no surrender race. Grant agrees.
We strive to be a party that is not first person singular I. We are a team, and our leader says no retreat, no surrender. My message will be what the leader's message will be: no retreat, no surrender. And
Bishop Grant hits the campaign trail right away with planned visits to Grand Bahama and Bimini this weekend. Reporting for Our News, I'm Sasha Lightbourne.
Thanks so much, Sasha. Well, the FNM ratifying its candidate for West Grand Bahama and Bimini Thursday evening. Bishop Ricardo Grant chosen to be the party's standard bearer. Now that the process is complete, the party is looking to address a number of issues as it begins to gear up its campaign for the upcoming by-election. Issues related to the Grand Bahama Port Authority, the Grand Bahama International Airport, the Grand Slucayan Resort, and Dorian aftermath top on the list. Party leader Michael Pintard calling these failures by the government.
They've had 2 years to sell the hotel that they criticize us about. And every month they are spending more money than we ever spent by the month in Grand Bahama, and they have failed to sell the hotel. They're fighting with the Grand Bahama Port Authority. And both of them have used each other as scapegoats for their failure. It's been 2 years since this administration has been in office, and only a handful of homes have been touched.
Pintard also alluding to possible tactics the Progressive Liberal Party may use on the campaign trail.
You should not play games with people's lives and emotions simply for political support. Because if you truly care about the people of West Grand Bahama and Bimini, they are spending a lot of money, not in a by-election, but we believe they're going to try to BUY the election. We are saying take the money and keep them out. Take the money and keep them out.
Well, 2 corrections officers are facing charges after they were accused of bringing drugs and other contraband into the prison. 34-year-old Vernicia Moss and 25-year-old Claysandra Morley appeared before Magistrate Shaka Serville for drug possession with the intent to supply and taking prohibited items into a correctional facility. The women were arrested at the prison on October 17th after they were allegedly found with 10 ounces of marijuana, an Alcatel cell phone and cell phone charger. They deny the charges. Both are out on $4,000 bail pending the conclusion of their trial set to begin on March 11th. Well, it was a rainy and somewhat cold day today, but our meteorologist Greg Thompson is standing by live in the Weather Center with your first look on temperatures. Greg, what can we expect for the remainder of the weekend?
Well, it's clearing out. We are starting to see a dip in the jet stream, so it's pushing a lot of that weather out. And there's a front that's expected getting here. Not much weather in the front. We'll show you that in our satellite picture, but we're looking for some very improved conditions for the weekend. 78 degrees outside our studios under partly cloudy skies, northeast winds at 4 miles per hour, and your feels-like temperature very comfortable, 77. Temperatures around the islands tonight right now, it's 76 in Freeport, 77 over in Marsh Harbour, Abaco, and in Governor's Harbour. We pick up 78 in Great Harbour Key, Alistown, Bimini, 80, 77 in Nicholstown, Central Bahamas, 78 in Kemps Bay, Arthurstown, Cat Island, Georgetown, 79, 75 in Copentown, San Salvador, Deadman's Key, you guys are 81, and into the southeast Bahamas. Low 80s there with 82 in Duncantown, Ragged Island, and in Colonel Hill, Crooked Island. You guys in the Crooked Island area seeing some showers nearby. 83 in Delectable Bay, Abrahams Bay, Matthewtown, Inago, 85, and our neighbors to the southeast Turks and Caicos Island. You guys are 84 with some showers nearby as well. Taking a look at our satellite radar composite, that mass of clouds and moisture associated with a trough or the remnants of front that backed up towards the north Now pushing back toward the south, there is a drying behind that. Some showers and isolated thunderstorms possible across the central Bahamas. But look at Grand Bahama. You guys are clearing out rather nice tonight, the Abacos, and we will continue to see some improving conditions for the weekend. We're looking at some very nice conditions through next week. That's your first look at weather. Stick with us. A look at your extended forecast is still to come.
Still to come on our news. KFC workers on standby for industrial action as negotiations stall over salary increases and back pay. The union president says time has run out. And straw markets could be the key to creating a much more culturally diverse experience for tourists. Berthany McDermott tells us how in tonight's Work in Progress. And later, we go on a journey of exploration into what inspires the visual artist. That's coming up when our news returns.
We're going where Columbus first landed, where snorkeling, diving, and fishing abound, to sparkling inland lakes and historical monuments, bordered by miles of crystal clear water sandy beaches. Join me as we gallivant across native Guanahani. Starting October 23rd, the Our News team is reporting nightly at 7 and 7:30, bringing you the best in St. Salvadorian life. And be sure to follow our social media pages. You all ain't coming?
Embrace technology and the digital transformation for better business results. For small business owners, it's essential to understand how technology can affect operational efficiencies. Modern communication relies on technology, and your customer service depends on communication. With proper tools like our fixed and mobile services, we help you stay connected. For solutions that work, ask the experts. Call Cable Bahamas Business Solutions.
In what we do at Best Brew, it really doesn't end when the customer purchases our product. We offer specialty coffee, tea, spices, and brewing equipment. We do a lot of our orders via website. We actually have the mobile service and the phone service and the internet. So having business in a box really kind of brought everything together for us and helps us to be able to provide the customer services that we pride ourselves on.
Industrial action could soon hit KFC stores as union leaders rally workers over an industrial agreement that is 8 years outdated. Our Sasha Lightborn reports on an emergency meeting at Workers' House this morning.
We believe that they're stalling, to continue to hold the employees at bay.
President of the Bahamas Hotel Catering and Allied Workers Union, Darren Woods, rallying the more than 300 KFC employees who he claims are working without an industrial agreement. The last one expired in 2015. The biggest issues, salary increases and back pay.
My patience has now run out. I am frustrated, and I am also humiliated by the proposal that they would have offered to pay you all after the contract would have expired since 2015. As of today, there's going to be industrial action in KFC, No longer are we going to sit by and allow them to take advantage of you while they continue to take home the moolah.
10-year employee Jeffrey Moxie is among those workers who says time has run out.
Well, the cost of living is high. So right now we need this contract signed and sealed right away, immediately.
Also lending support to the KFC workers is President of the Bahamas National Alliance of Trade Union Congress, Belinda Wilson, who heads the umbrella union for those workers.
We have to make a stand in this country where the employers know that without the employees, you have no company. So we love KFC. But if we have to sacrifice a day or two without KFC, we will be supporting you.
On the question of industrial action, Woods said this.
Just wait and see. We have a special tool that KFC uses all the time.
Our News reached out to Restaurants Bahamas, a company with oversight for KFC. Per our calls were not immediately returned. Reporting for Our News, I'm Sasha Lightbourne.
The Lyford Key International School announcing the sudden passing of its principal, Dr. David Mindorf. Mindorf served as principal since 2019. In an email shared with parents yesterday, the school shared that Dr. Mindorf was deeply committed to the growth and development of the school. It continues by saying, quote, "We will miss Dr. Mindorf's cheerful smile and his deep love and commitment to Lyford Key International School and the international baccalaureate community." End quote. Information about memorial services will be shared when made available. United Against Bullying. The month of October is celebrated as Anti-Bullying Month, and Bahamas Academy is doing its part in raising awareness. Holding a special assembly at its Marshall Road campus, the school, featuring drama, song, and presentations, sought to teach students, clad in their orange tees, of the effects bullying can have, as well as encourage those who have been victims of such treatment. Bahamas Academy Principal Juliet Sands.
To participate in Unity Day, individuals, schools, communities, and businesses wear or share orange to unite persons from around the world for kindness, acceptance, and inclusion to prevent students being bullied. Today, we want to say to the world that we are united against bullying.
Statistics show that 1 in 5 school-aged children report being bullied. Teachers at Bahamas Academy are looking to set the example for other schools as they believe in the safety of every child.
From hurtful words to exclusion and even physical harm. It's a problem that no one should face alone. And it's a problem that we as a school can stand up against.
While it seems officials are looking for ways to transform the straw market experience and ways to create a greater cultural space, Bethany McDermott has the details in tonight's Work in Progress.
Straw markets should be more than just markets. That's the sentiment expressed by the Parliamentary Secretary in the Ministry of Works, Barkis Roll. He says the question is how to turn straw markets into cultural spaces.
So we've been talking about bringing culture in the market, downtown, Cable Beach, and of course the new Fort Charlotte market, right? How do we get those markets to become places where tourists learn about the Bahamas and experience the Bahamas? You know, should we have midday rush outs? Should we have some pea soup and dumpling available?
Over the years, there has been criticism that the downtown straw market could use modernization or even transformation. With the Bahamas being just one stop for the millions of cruise passengers, Roll says a venue needs to be created that is competitive.
That is where we're headed. That is where we have to go if we're going to compete. Tourists come to the Bahamas to get a taste of, you know, and they don't just only get that at 5-star restaurants. They should get that everywhere they go.
But what about the Family Islands, which also see thousands of tourists? Roll says the Straw Market Authority is looking to see where the needs are for expansion.
Once we can have the market travel, or the executives travel, they see the need, they meet with local straw vendor professionals and see what the need is. And once we realize that there is a need, we would scope the work, plan to build those buildings that are suitable for what they require.
Reporting for Work in Progress for Our News, I'm Bethany McDermott.
When Our News comes back from the break, we turn our spotlight to stories making headlines across the world. As the U.S. welcoming the release of 2 American hostages held by Hamas. Plus, Belgium's justice minister resigning today over what he calls a monumental error. We've got those details. And from the region, the Dominican Republic has expanded its fumigation exercise after 6,000 cases of dengue fever recorded thus far. We have the details when Our News returns.
Don't spend hours sending individual messages to your customers. Use SMS messaging instead. With Cable Bahamas Business Solutions SMS messaging, you can send personalized messages to hundreds or even thousands of recipients instantly. It's quick, effortless, and cost-effective. Plus, it ensures that your messages are delivered directly to your customers' cellular phones, guaranteeing higher engagement. Save time and boost your outreach with SMS bulk messaging. Call Cable Bahamas Business Solutions at 601-8911 in Nassau or 602-8811 in the Family Islands.
Embrace technology and the digital transformation for better business results. For small business owners, it's essential to understand how technology can affect operational efficiencies. Modern communication relies on technology, and your customer service depends on communication. With proper tools like our fixed and mobile services, we help you stay connected. For solutions that work, ask the experts. Call Cable Bahamas Business Solutions.
In what we do at Best Brew, it really doesn't end when the customer purchases our product. We offer specialty coffee, tea, spices, and brewing equipment. We do a lot of our orders via website. We actually have the mobile service and the phone service and the internet. So having business in a box really kind of brought everything together for us and helps us to be able to provide the customer services that we pride ourselves on.
We're going where Columbus first landed, where snorkeling, diving, and fishing abound, to sparkling inland lakes and historical monuments, bordered by miles of crystal clear water sandy beaches. Join me as we gallivant across native Guanahani. Starting October 23rd, the Our News team is reporting nightly at 7 and 7:30, bringing you the best in St. Salvadorian life. And be sure to follow our social media pages. You all ain't coming?
This is Our News. Welcome back. We turn our attention now to stories making headlines across the world. The U.S. welcoming the release of 2 American hostages Friday held by Hamas. Mother and daughter Judith Ty Renan and her 17-year-old daughter Natalie Renan were kidnapped during the initial attack against Israel nearly 2 weeks ago. The Renans from the Chicago area were visiting relatives in southern Israel when it was attacked by Hamas. They were handed over at the border before making their way to an Israeli military base to be reunited with family. Secretary of State Antony Blinken says there are still 10 additional Americans who remain unaccounted for in this conflict. The head of MI5 says more than 20,000 people in the UK have now been approached covertly online by Chinese spies. It comes amid a new warning to tens of thousands of British businesses of the risk of having their innovations stolen. Ken McCollum was speaking to the BBC at an unprecedented public appearance of the security chiefs of the Five Eyes Alliance in California. The heads of U.S., UK, Australian, Canadian, and New Zealand security agencies appeared together. They did so for the first time to warn of commercial secrets being obtained by China. Belgium's justice minister resigned on Friday over what he described as a monumental error after it was discovered that Tunisia was seeking the extradition of an Islamic extremist who shot dead 2 Swedes and wounded a 3rd this week. Justice Minister Vincent van Quickenborne said that he and his team had been searching for details to understand how the extremist disappeared off the map 2 years ago after being denied asylum and ordered by Belgian authorities to be deported to Tunisia. On Monday night, the extremists in question gunned down 2 Swedish men and wounded a 3rd with a semi-automatic rifle. The attack forced the lockdown of more than 35,000 people in a soccer stadium where they had gathered to watch Belgium play Sweden. And from the region, the Dominican Republic has expanded its fumigation exercise in an effort to combat the dengue virus outbreak in the country. The expansion of fumigation services was one of 9 measures adopted by President Luis Abinader and his cabinet following a marathon meeting at the National Palace on Wednesday. Over 6,000 cases of dengue fever have been recorded in the Dominican Republic. Director of Strategy and Communication of the presidency, telling reporters that starting Friday, the measures like house-to-house fumigation and cleaning of public spaces will begin. The government plans to increase capacity within the public healthcare system to provide timely treatment to dengue patients. The EU has raised security concerns about the trade in golden passports and vowed to tighten visa controls after revealing 5 Caribbean states have sold citizenship to 88,000 individuals from countries including Iran, Russia, and China. A report published on Wednesday sets out for the first time the true scale of the Caribbean passport trade. A number of countries sell citizenship to foreign nationals with prices starting at $100,000 a head. Dominica has issued 34,500 passports. St. Kitts and Nevis issued 36,700 passports. Other countries include Antigua and Barbuda, Grenada, and St. Lucia. Still to come in our news, today in history, find out interesting facts about the day that was October 20th, including the formation of one of the major political parties. Then in our news at 7:30, we are back at the PLP headquarters for the latest on the candidate selection for West End and Bimini. And later, a man accused of killing a murder suspect gets his day in court. That's coming up when our news returns.
Doctors Hospitals reimagine primary care. We have invested to improve our health system, ensuring that accessible, affordable, world-class clinical care is closer to you. Your relationship with a primary care provider shapes the foundation of your overall health. Our new, modern primary care facilities are where critical diagnosis and true personalized treatment begin. With locations across New Providence, Grand Bahama, and Exuma, we invite you to experience the Doctors Hospital difference. Book your next appointment at clinics.doctorshos.com.
Favorite Bahamian artist of all time? I'll give you some time to think with it.
The greatest Bahamian song was recorded by the beginning of the end, Funky Nassau.
We're in a day and age where things can be different and still be authentically Bahamian because it's the Bahamian people bringing it to you.
Junkin was like the heart and soul of the Bahamian culture.
We're going where Columbus first landed, where snorkeling, diving, and fishing abound, to sparkling inland lakes and historical monuments bordered by miles of crystal clear water sandy beaches. Join me as we gallivant across native Guanahani. Starting October 23rd, the Our News team is reporting nightly at 7 and 7:30, bringing you the best in St. Salvadorian life. And be sure to follow our social media pages. You all ain't coming?
Embrace technology and the digital transformation for better business results. For small business owners, it's essential to understand how technology can affect operational efficiencies. Modern communication relies on technology, and your customer service depends on communication. With proper tools like our fixed and mobile services, we help you.
Welcome back to our news. It's now time to turn our spotlight on events that shaped the day that was October 20th. Let's take a look. On this day in Bahamian history, on October 20th, 1971, the Free National Movement was established, founded at the home of Jimmy Shepherd on Spring Hills Farms in Fox Hill. The initial members were a group of former Progressive Liberal Party members who were called the Dissident Eight or the Free PLP. They included Cecil Wallace Whitfield, Arthur Folks, Warren J. Lavarty, Maurice Moore, Dr. Curtis McMillan, James Shepherd, Elwood Donaldson, and George Thompson. The group selected Cecil Wallace Whitfield as its leader. And then on October 20th, 1977, Queen Elizabeth II officially opened the television station ZNS Channel 13. The call letter stand for Zephyr, Nassau, Sunshine. Fast forward to October 20th, 1980. Lifelong educator Rodney Ezekiel Bain died in a car accident in New Providence. During his career, he rose up through the ranks and was appointed as Director of Education. It is said that he was involved in the planning and development of many programs within the Ministry of Education. And finally, on October 20th, 2022, Central Grant Bahama Member of Parliament Aaron Lewis was the first to offer himself as leader of the Free National Movement following the 2021 general election. Lewis said he believes he is the right man to rebuild the party.
We would have lost contact, or there's certainly a certain level of disconnect from our base, as is evident over the last election, September 16th. I do have the support. I do believe in my team. I do believe that we have what it takes to lead the party. We believe in our system. The message is going to be clear. We will get the party back on track.
The FNM selected Michael Pintard as the leader of the political party. We are officially a week away from the second Bahamas Culinary and Art Festival presented by Bahamar, and I'm hoping you are excited as I am. In tonight's Artist Highlight, I speak with artist Hino Schmid about his print work, career, and what inspires him.
I work a lot with graphite and large sheets of paper. A lot of it I make myself and stitch together. And so large drawings, sculpture, some video here and there.
Schmidt says essentially he can work with any material that sparks his interest in a narrative. And exactly what are those narratives?
I actually work specifically from the environment. So I try to navigate spaces around my studio. My studio is in Chippenham, which I love. There's a lot of fodder there in terms of people, in terms of interactions and intersections of material and people. So I use a lot of those as metaphors for the larger, I guess, Bahamian experience.
As Bahamar gears up to make the Bahamas the regional hub for arts through the Fuse event, Schmidt says, quite frankly, it's ambitious, but someone has to do it.
A lot of the people who are coming in and people I've met before and people whose work I follow, there's so much overlap in terms of material, in terms of content, in terms of like shared histories that have been maybe navigated slightly differently, that I think it's a perfect time to be able to like bring all of that together. And if Bahamar has the resources to kind of do that, I think it's a very generous, kind of push for the creative arts in the country and also in the region.
And as to what you can expect from Schmid at this Fuse event.
I'm making two very large sculptures and as well as some objects, specifically with material that I've collected over the years. It's an experimental exercise for me.
Now to watch that story again and for all of today's top stories, be sure to visit ournews.bs. That does it for Our News Live at 7. Joining us now is our Talia Hall with the latest headlines. Talia, happy Friday.
Happy Friday, Megan. Thanks so much. Well, the campaign season is heating up. This as the Progressive Liberal Party ratifies Kingsley Smith as their candidate to run in the upcoming by-election, and a man is arraigned for killing a murder suspect. Here are your latest headlines. A battle royale, first tonight on Our News Live at 7:30. The internal race to select a candidate in the upcoming West End and Bimini by-election. We have the latest from the PLP headquarters. Plus, all eyes are on West Grand, Bahama, and Bimini over the next few weeks. As the race squares off, hear what the voters are saying about the selections. Plus, a murder accused gets his day in court for his alleged role in the shooting death of another murder suspect out on bail. And later, a first for the Bahamas as a former Attorney General is selected as Master of the Bench. Our News Live at 7:30 is back in a moment.
In what we do at Best Brew, it really doesn't end when the customer purchases our product. We offer specialty coffee, tea, spices, and brewing equipment. We do a lot of our orders via website. We actually have the mobile service and the phone service and the internet. So having Business in a Box really kind of brought everything together for us and helps us to be able to provide the customer services that we pride ourselves on.
We're going where Columbus first landed, where snorkeling, diving, and fishing abound, to sparkling inland lakes and historical monuments, bordered by miles of crystal clear water sandy beaches. Join me as we gallivant across native Guanahani. Starting October 23rd, the Our News team is reporting nightly at 7 and 7:30, bringing you the best in St. Salvadorian life. And be sure to follow our social media pages. You all ain't coming?
Welcome to our news and thank you for joining us. I'm Natalia Hall. The Progressive Liberal Party has chosen Kingsley Smith as their candidate for the upcoming by-election. The selection made a short time ago at the party's headquarters on Farrington Road. Our Joshua Williams is standing by at the Gambler House. Josh, what can you tell us?
Yes, good evening, Natalia. We're live here at PLP headquarters on Farrington Road. And just a few minutes ago, word coming out of headquarters that Kingsley Smith has been chosen to represent the West Grand Bahama and Bimini seat for the Progressive Liberal Party in the upcoming by-election. Now, as word got out of headquarters, former Cabinet Minister Shane Gibson could be seen leaving the building with scores of supporters behind him. Supporters were irate at the decision for Smith to represent the party, and we tried to approach Gibson and ask him a number of questions to get his immediate reaction after the decision.
We going independent. Y'all say what's that? How do you feel about students tonight? What about the other supporters? How do you feel? No comment?
What's your view of the whole process? Your view of the whole process?
We going independent. We want you to.
Now, minutes ago, Gibson would have crossed the road to appeal to his supporters that would have come to support him, and he says while he doesn't have any comment, he still supports the party. Now, in a few minutes, we're expected to be called inside to get that official announcement. If you would recall, Smith would have contested for the West Grand Bahama and Bimini seat in 2021 ahead of the general election, but lost to the late O.B. Wilchcombe. Again, stay tuned to Our News tonight and our social media pages for any more information. Back to you, Natalia.
All right, Josh, thanks so much. And of course, we will continue to follow this story. Meanwhile, Bishop Ricardo Grant was selected as the Free National Movement candidate for the by-election for West Grand Bahama and Bimini, the seat made vacant following the death of former Member of Parliament O.B. Wilchcombe last month. His selection came at the F&M's Mackey Street headquarters, where party leader Michael Pintard claimed no retreat, no surrender. Grant adopted the same.
We strive to be a party that is not first person singular I. We are a team, and our leader says no retreat, no surrender. My message will be what the leader's message will be: no retreat, no surrender. And we will move forward with the message of our leader, the Honorable Member of Parliament and the official opposition leader, Michael Pintard. No retreat!
Well, we canvassed a few voters in West Grand Bahama today who are already squaring off along party lines. Let's take a look.
I think we need someone that's seasoned for this time. We don't need anyone that's new to the forefront. You know, we need someone who can follow through on what Mr. Wilchcombe had already put in place.
In less than a month, these voters will choose a new member of parliament, and already they are weighing their options. The Free National Movement put their seal of approval on well-known clergyman and West Grand Bahama native Bishop Ricardo Grant.
He's a very good man, decent, respectable man.
I have nothing against the F&M and the person that they had elected. I feel he's a very good person, and you know, if I was an F&M, I would support him. Yeah, he is a very good person.
The Progressive Liberal Party is a day behind in their selection process with 10 candidates on the selection list, including former Cabinet Minister Shane Gibson. Yet, there are voters who believes West Grand Bahama native Kingsley Smith should be on the ballot.
We need Kingsley. I believe he could change the stand and make it a better place and make some action come through the stand. It's a day done.
But for Ferguson and Roker, former Housing Minister Shane Gibson is their pick.
He's a seasoned person, and under the PLP government, when he was the Minister of Housing, he came to Grand Bahama after the storm and interviewed and built this house for me.
You know the rope and you got the experience. So he'll be a wise mistake, he'll be a fool to go backward against that. Yeah. By choosing them they ain't ready yet.
Well, heavy rain showers in the capital this morning causing flooding in some areas. Wondering what type of weather we can expect for the weekend. Well, meteorologist Greg Thompson is live in the Weather Center with a first look at weather. Greg?
Well, the flooding is gone. The weather is moving on and we are going to see some good conditions improving for the weekend. Partly cloudy outside the studios right now with 77 degrees. That's our temperature. Northeast winds at 5 miles per hour and your field slight temperature is at 79. Radar and satellite composite showing that frontal boundary that was lurking across the southeast Bahamas and back up towards the north is now pushing towards the southeast. There's a big dip in the jet stream that's pushing all of that. There's also another weak front that's going to be bringing in some nice changes for the weather. So we're looking for improved conditions tomorrow and not much in terms of any clouds. That's a quick check on conditions around the island. Stick with us to look at your tropics and your weekend forecast is still to come.
Still to come on our news inside, the arraignment of a man accused of murdering a suspect out on bail. Plus, cybersecurity even more of a concern. Find out what experts were discussing this week. Also, the Deputy Press Secretary is pressed on possible changes to abortion laws this week. Hear what she had to say. That's all coming up when our news returns.
Don't spend hours sending individual messages to your customers. Use SMS messaging instead. With Cable Bahamas Business Solutions SMS messaging, you can send personalized messages to hundreds or even thousands of recipients instantly. It's quick, effortless, and cost-effective. Plus, it ensures that your messages are delivered directly to your customers' cellular phones, guaranteeing higher engagement. Save time and boost your outreach with SMS bulk messaging. Call Cable Bahamas Business Solutions at 601-8911 in Nassau or 602-8811 in the Family Islands.
Embrace technology and the digital transformation for better business results. For small business owners, it's essential to understand how technology can affect operational efficiencies. Modern communication relies on technology, and your customer service depends on communication. With proper tools like our fixed and mobile services, we help you stay connected. For solutions that work, ask the experts. Call Cable Bahamas Business Solutions.
In what we do at Best Brew, it really doesn't end when the customer purchases our product. We offer specialty coffee, tea, spices, and brewing equipment. We do a lot of our orders via website. We actually have the mobile service and the phone service and the internet. So having business in a box really kind of brought everything together for us and helps us to be able to provide the customer services that we pride ourselves on.
We're going where Columbus first landed, where snorkeling, diving, and fishing abound, to sparkling inland lakes and historical monuments, bordered by miles of crystal clear water sandy beaches. Join me as we gallivant across native Guanahani. Starting October 23rd, the Our News team is reporting nightly at 7 and 7:30, bringing you the best in St. Salvadorian life. And be sure to follow our social media pages. You all ain't coming?
Don't spend hours sending individual messages to your customers. Use SMS messaging instead. With Cable Bahamas Business Solutions SMS messaging, you can send personalized messages to hundreds or even thousands of recipients instantly. It's quick, effortless, and cost-effective. Plus, it ensures that your messages are delivered directly to your customers' cellular phones, guaranteeing higher engagement. Save time and boost your outreach with SMS bulk messaging. Call Cable Bahamas Business Solutions at 601-8911 in Nassau or 602-8811 in the Family Islands.
A 32-year-old man is behind bars after being accused of killing a suspect on bail for murder. Prosecutors say Dennis Mather fatally shot 44-year-old Dennis Baston at Tyler Street in Chippingham on October 13th. Baston was about to get into his Nissan Cube when the occupants of a Nissan Note shot him multiple times, killing him on the spot. At the time of his death, Baston was on bail in relation to the June 30th, 2015 murder of Taraz Hanna, who was shot dead at Wilson Tract. Mather did not have to enter a plea to the charge. When he appeared before Magistrate Raquel Wims, bail was denied and he returns to court on January 20th, 2024 to receive voluntary bill of indictment papers. Law enforcement officers have successfully apprehended a 21-year-old man who was wanted for murder. The arrest was a result of the collaborative efforts of officers from the U.S. Homeland Security, the Royal Bahamas Police Force, and Bahamas Immigration. The fugitive was apprehended at the Lyndon Pinling International Airport yesterday afternoon after he managed to evade capture for several months by fleeing to the United States. The U.S. government, through the local U.S. Embassy here in the Bahamas, issuing a worldwide reminder to U.S. citizens traveling to exercise caution in light of activities around the world. The alert posted Thursday can be read on the U.S. Embassy's website. U.S. Embassy officials recommend U.S. citizens continue to monitor the U.S. Embassy's social media pages for country-specific security information. The issue of amending the country's abortion law is still a topic of contention. The most recent national conversation spiraled after a 43-year-old doctor was charged for performing an illegal abortion on a 15-year-old girl in Harbor Island last month. Back in August, former Minister for Social Services, the late Obi Woolscombe, weighed in on the conversation surrounding illegal abortions in the country and the possibility of amending the law, saying it's an issue that should be raised at government level. When pressed by reporters about the issue, the Prime Minister previously said amending abortion laws as a medical matter would be something that he would consider. But has there been any progress on the matter? Well, Deputy Press Secretary in the Office of the Prime Minister, Keisha Adderley, had a response.
There is an active discussion on changing the laws related to abortion, specifically the terms under which one can legally have an abortion. Obviously, the issue was in the news lately because of some unfortunate circumstances. But if the outcry is, reaches the level where the administration feels that it should be pushed to the forefront and a wider conversation should be had, then the government will be minded to do so and engage all of the relevant stakeholders on the issue.
When our news comes back from the break, as a former Attorney General is selected as Master of the Bench, keep watching for details.
The Bahamas Pan Am Games contingent is headed to Chile this year, and learn why the Bahamas Bowl will be played in a different location this year. Don't go anywhere, our sports is coming up next.
And another rainy day in the capital. Greg is back with more weather details right after this quick break. Stay with us.
Doctors Hospital is reimagined primary care. We have invested to improve our health system, ensuring that accessible, affordable, world-class clinical care is closer to you. Your relationship with a primary care provider shapes the foundation of your overall health. Our new, modern primary care facilities are where critical diagnosis and true personalized treatment begin. With locations across New Providence, Grand Bahama, and Exuma, we invite you to experience the Doctors Hospital difference. Book your next appointment at clinics.doctorshos.com.
Favorite Bahamian artist of all time? I'll give you some time to think with it.
The greatest Bahamian song was recorded by the beginning of the end, Funky Nassau.
We're in a day and age where things can be different and still be authentically Bahamian because it's the Bahamian people bringing it to you.
Junkin was like the heart and soul of the Bahamian culture.
We're going where Columbus first landed, where snorkeling, diving, and fishing abound, to sparkling inland lakes and historical monuments bordered by miles of crystal clear water sandy beaches. Join me as we gallivant across native Guanahani. Starting October 23rd, the Our News team is reporting nightly at 7 and 7:30, bringing you the best in San Salvadorian life. And be sure to follow our social media pages.
You all ain't coming?
Embrace technology and the digital transformation for better business results. For small business owners, it's essential to understand how technology can affect operational efficiencies. Modern communication relies on technology, and your customer service depends on communication. With proper tools like our fixed and mobile services, we help you stay connected. For solutions that work, ask the experts. Call Cable Bahamas Business Solutions.
In what we do at Best Brew, it really doesn't end when the customer purchases our product. We offer specialty coffee, tea, spices, and brewing equipment. We do a lot of our orders via website. We actually have the mobile service and the phone service and the internet. So having business in a box really kind of brought everything together for us and helps us to be able to provide the customer services that we pride ourselves on.
This is our news. Welcome back. Bahamians head to Chile to participate in the Pan Am Games, and the Bahamas Bowl moves to another side. Here's Tej Adderley with a check on sports. Tej?
Thanks, Ataya. Good evening, happy Friday. I'm Tej Adderley here to wrap up the week with some sports. The Pan Am Games begin today. A couple of familiar names made the trip down south to Chile. The Bahamas contingent for the Pan American Games has left for Santiago, Chile. Athletes from track and field, golf, wrestling, swimming, sailing, and tennis are in Santiago for the Games. Some notable names in the contingent include the country's two greatest decathletes, Kendrick Thompson and Ken Mullings, defending NCAA javelin champ Rima Audubor, veteran high jumper Donald Thomas, golfer Nolan Johnson, and wrestler Raji Maki. Now, the Games will run through November 5th. If anything happens, our news will be the first to have it, so be sure to follow our social media pages for the latest updates. On to some college football. The Bahamas Bowl will have to be called a something else bowl, at least for this year. The Bowl Games organizers announced that the 2023 edition will not be played in the Bahamas. The organizers of the Bahamas Bowl have announced that the 2023 game will not be played in the Bahamas. In an email sent to the press yesterday, ESPN Vice President of Events Clint Overby stated that because of the ongoing repairs to the Thomas A. Robinson Stadium, a number of alternate sites are being considered for the postseason bowl game, and that the game will return to the Bahamas in 2024. As always, a team from Conference USA will take on a team from the Middle American Conference. The announcement on the game's location is forthcoming. That's unfortunate, but we look forward to having the games back next year. That's a wrap for sports for the week. I'm Tej Adderley.
Still ahead on our news tonight, a former attorney general is selected as a master of the bench, the first ever from the Bahamas. Plus, is there more rain in store for the weekend? Greg fills us in the extended weather forecast when our news returns. Stay with us.
Don't spend hours sending individual messages to your customers. Use SMS messaging instead. With Cable Bahamas Business Solutions SMS messaging, you can send personalized messages to hundreds or even thousands of recipients instantly. It's quick, effortless, and cost-effective. Plus, it ensures that your messages are delivered directly to your customers' cellular phones, guaranteeing higher engagement. Save time and boost your outreach with SMS bulk messaging. Call Cable Bahamas Business Solutions at 601-8911 in Nassau or 602-8811 in the Family Islands.
Embrace technology and the digital transformation for better business results. For small business owners, it's essential to understand how technology can affect operational efficiencies. Modern communication relies on technology, and your customer service depends on communication. With proper tools like our fixed and mobile services, we help you stay connected. For solutions that work, ask the experts. Call Cable Bahamas Business Solutions.
In what we do at Best Brew, it really doesn't end when the customer purchases our product. We offer specialty coffee, tea, spices, and brewing equipment. We do a lot of our orders via website. We actually have the mobile service and the phone service and the internet. So having business in a box really kind of brought everything together for us and helps us to be able to provide the customer services that we pride ourselves on.
We're going where Columbus first landed, where snorkeling, diving, and fishing abound, to sparkling inland lakes and historical monuments, bordered by miles of crystal clear water sandy beaches. Join me as we gallivant across native Guanahani. Starting October 23rd, the Our News team is reporting nightly at 7 and 7:30, bringing you the best in St. Salvadorian life. And be sure to follow our social media pages. You all ain't coming?
Don't spend hours sending individual messages to your customers. Use SMS messaging instead. With Cable Bahamas Business Solutions SMS messaging, you can send personalized messages to hundreds or even thousands of recipients instantly. It's quick, effortless, and cost-effective. Plus, it ensures that your messages are delivered directly to your customers' cellular phones, guaranteeing higher engagement. Save time and boost your outreach with SMS bulk messaging. Call Cable Bahamas Business Solutions at 601-8911 in Nassau or 602-8811 in the Family Islands. Don't spend hours sending individual messages to your customers. Use SMS messaging instead. With Cable Bahamas Business Solutions SMS messaging, you can send personalized messages to hundreds or even thousands of recipients instantly. It's quick, effortless, and cost-effective. Plus,
welcome back to Our News. Cool temperatures and lots of rain this week. Hopefully things warm up a bit for the weekend. Greg is back in the Weather Center live with your extended forecast. Greg?
Not really a warm-up, but a slight change in the temperatures. Of course, the humidity will come down. There's a big dip in the jet stream. This is the water vapor. This is the boundary that went through us. So all the whites and the greens, that's the moisture. And notice behind that, nothing much in terms of any weather is expected. And we will continue to see some improving conditions for the weekend. We also have out there in the Atlantic, Tammy formed into a hurricane earlier today. It's now at 75 mile per hour winds, moving towards the northwest. Should move across the northern Leeward Islands by the weekend and into early next week, then expected to move out towards the Atlantic and away from us. And also there's an area that the National Hurricane Center is watching down in the southwestern Caribbean. That has about a 20% chance, but that will be moving inland, so we're not going to worry too much about that. The tropics, the remainder of the tropics quiet. We have a couple of tropical waves moving off the tropical African coast, and they are going to stay out there in the open Atlantic. Boating for the northwest and central Bahamas night to tomorrow. Risk of rip currents is in place. The winds will be out of the northwest and north at 10 to 15 knots. Seas 2 to 4 feet over the ocean. Your low tide was at 7:02 tonight. High tide taking place at 12:48 in the morning. For the southeast Bahamas, west to northwest winds at 10 knots. Seas 1 to 3 feet. But those winds will become more northwest to north as that system pushes towards the south. Here's a look now at your national forecast. All right, to end the week, that boundary will move out. High pressure will build back across us. Dry air mass moving in. We're looking at some very lovely conditions. Temperatures will stay in the low to mid 80s. Overnight low temperatures will be in the low to mid 70s. So we're looking at some nice conditions, Italia. That's a look at the weekend weather.
Thanks so much, Greg. And finally tonight, former Attorney General Allison Maynard Gibson, KC, has been elected as a Master of the Bench of the Honorable Society of the Inner Temple, the first ever from the Bahamas. Masters of the Bench comprise the governing council of the Inner Temple. The Inner Temple is one of the 4 Inns of Court granted the exclusive right to call students to practice law at the Bar of England and Wales. Now, Maynard Gibson will serve as Overseas Bencher. An Overseas Bencher is a member who has achieved judicial, academic, professional, political, or diplomatic distinction. All right, a major accomplishments. Congrats. And we thank you for joining us for our news tonight. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Natalia Hall. We'll see you tomorrow night. Have a great evening.